Good morning everyone, welcome back to another video. I am outside this morning with my cup of coffee and I am just doing a little walk around the garden, and I thought I would share some exciting things happening in the backyard, specifically in this little cottage garden here behind me. And I'm just going to do a little bit of a walk through the garden. I usually do this pretty much every morning or every second morning, and I like to bring my coffee and just have a look through the garden, see what's happening, see if any new blooms are popping up, and just do kind of like a little bit of a maintenance walk to see what needs to be done either that day or throughout the week. And it's definitely coming to the time where we can start planting our seeds for spring. Although in a lot of climates like the subtropics and tropics, you would have already planted lots and you can grow all year round. But I'm excited to grow a lot more of the warmer loving plants because it's still quite cool here, and I am looking forward to some warmer days and kind of dreaming about fresh tomatoes again and capsicums and chilies. So towards the end of this video, I will sit down and share just a few things that I'm planting right now, maybe give you a little bit of inspiration if you are looking for some things to plant for spring. Definitely one of my favorite things in the garden right now is all of this beautiful pak choi that is flowering. We didn't end up eating all of the pak choi as greens. Really, I just planted too much, but I am so glad I did, because when it bolts and essentially goes to seed, it produces these gorgeous flowers. Most brassica plants have similar flowers. They're either like bright yellow or sometimes white or cream flowers. So things like kale, broccoli, radishes, pak choi, bok choy, they all have similar flowers. And you can see right now behind me that I have a lot in the garden, and it's providing just some gorgeous colour to this area. And the pollinators are absolutely adoring it. We've got honeybees, native hoverflies, lots of different biodiversity happening in this little patch, which I'm so happy to see. So if you can't get through all of your brassica plants in the season and you don't need the space for something else, definitely make sure to let them flower like this. And they just produce so much pollen in each of those flowers. Plus, letting it flower also means that you can collect seed as well. So I can see on quite a few of these that the seed pods are almost forming, and I'm going to let a lot of these dry so that I can have lots more pak choi seeds for the garden. Another exciting thing is that my ranunculus have started flowering. They haven't fully opened their blooms, but I'll show you what they look like at the moment. So I have them tucked in over here, planted in this wooden box that you would have seen me plant in another video, and they are looking amazing. So I got these ranunculus from Tesla. I have Bianca sfumato, I think that's what it's called, the pink one. And I also have crema. I don't see any crema, but that's okay. This pink one is super beautiful. They're quite a big bloom, and this is just coming from one stem with multiple blooms on it. These are not for cut flowers, although you can use it for cut flowers, but I'm just going to be enjoying these in my garden. And they look really nice in this wooden box here. They're kind of being a little bit overtaken by the straw flower, which I should have known was going to do that, but that's okay. I don't mind my garden being a little bit wild. I will definitely film an update on what they look like when they are fully open, but I'm just so excited. They're going to be so pretty here. They've also completely overtaken all of the little violas that I had, and I had a few other things in here too, but that's okay because they are super beautiful, and they look really nice next to this big lavender, which I picked this up from Bunnings and it was $1 because it was on its way out, and it is loving life here. I'm not exactly sure on what type of lavender, but it has really long stems, which is nice, and I think I might actually pick some of this and dry it eventually. And I also have my ranunculus tunnel over here that has all of the ranunculus that I picked up from Garden Express, and it was just a pack of 100, I think, of all different random colours, and I can start to see some blooms in here. I have covered it like this just because of the bandicoot that we have around, but it's actually been helpful, I think, to just support the stems when they come up. So I think I might keep it on some of it. I did have to lift it up a little bit down here because this borage is bursting through, and it's also going to be flowering soon. Borage is something that you can definitely plant now. It doesn't mind a little bit more of the cooler temperatures and has really gorgeous bluey purple flowers. While I'm here, I feel like I have to show you the linaria. I have linaria all around the garden, and I've actually planted a whole nother tray of this. I didn't actually realize how amazing this holds up in vases. I think it was 2 videos ago when I put together like a little arrangement with some linaria, and they actually had the best vase life out of all of those flowers. So my plan is to actually grow some of these 4 cut flowers and just do a whole big bed of them. They do produce fairly long stems, but with my flower farming journey and the markets that I would like to do, I am going to be putting together some smaller little jar arrangements to sell as like little posies, and also to take to some nursing homes. And I think these will be a really great filler. So I'm just going to see how they go, and just trial and error. That's what this whole year is about. They're pretty cheap seeds. You get so many seeds in a packet. And now is the time to get them in the ground. Right, I thought I would grab my coffee and walk down to the back flower farm area. I don't usually talk about too many brands on this channel, but I did want to do a little bit of a shout out to Skyberry Coffee. It's not paid or sponsored or anything. I just really love sharing products that I really love and that are Australian grown. If you're after some Australian grown coffee, make sure to check out Skyberry Coffee. I would say I am a little bit of a coffee snob, not gonna lie, and this coffee is just the most delicious coffee. They do quite a few blends. They are based up in North Queensland, where all of the coffee is grown. It's a gorgeous area. I just love the area around Mareeba. I drink it literally every day, and I know in Australia we import so much coffee into this country when we grow some of the best in the world, in my opinion. So if you're after some coffee, you're putting in a coffee order, I will have Skyberry's website listed down below, and let me know what you think if you end up buying some. It's definitely fueling this flower farm here, which I have actually planted some of the beds. I directly sowed some baby's breath the other day. It is, I think, Rosea. It's the pink baby's breath, and I've just planted a little row of that. It is in this tunnel here behind me. They're pretty quick to grow, so I'm hoping that they germinate okay, and I've just covered it to protect from the bandicoot, and also so that it germinates a little bit quicker because we're still getting quite cool nights here. Right, throughout the day it is still getting fairly warm, so I'm just propping up the ends to let a little bit of airflow in, and hopefully they germinate okay in that. I don't have much else planted except lots of cornflowers here, and all of my onions as well, which are not flowers, although they do flower, but these are hopefully going to be putting on a little bit more growth now that the weather is warming up, and we should have quite a few onions this year. Alright, I'm actually just going to leave this up, I think, because it is quite warm under there. I just had a bit of a feel, and baby's breath doesn't like it too warm to germinate. I think it should germinate just fine if I leave it open during the day and then closed at night. But I'm so excited to have like the first flowers in the ground. directly sown into this area. Something I do feel like I'm just craving doing is planting some more vegetable seeds. I have just been like so focused on this flower farm that that growing veggies has taken a little bit of a backseat, and I really want to get planting for spring because growing food is like my first passion really. I will always grow food, and I am missing having lots of fresh produce to harvest, and I also want to try and preserve a lot more this year because I just find we go through our fruit and veggies so quick, and I would love to have a little bit more homegrown produce that is preserved that I can enjoy for more than a few weeks in the year. Right, so yesterday I rummaged through my stash of seeds that I have and pulled out some ones that I'm going to be planting over the next few weeks. I get really overwhelmed with seed starting, which isn't fantastic starting a flower farm because the amount of seeds you have to plant is just ridiculous. So what I like to do is I like to rummage through what I have, and for the next maybe like 3 or so weeks I try and pull out ones that need to be planted within that period. I usually have a stash like this and a bowl or a container that I keep them right next to the door outside so that I'm reminded that they're there and that they need to get in the ground at just some point whenever I have time. I'm not one of those people who like to do just one whole seed sowing session. I like to just do it here and there, mainly because I don't have too much space and I just get too overwhelmed, and I usually get distracted about other things in the garden and want to be doing a million things at once. So I will usually choose maybe like 3 or 4 seeds on the day when I feel like sowing these seeds and sow them. But my stash that I currently have here is full of things that I'm going to be planting over the next few weeks / have already planted that I'll chat through when I can organize them. This is a mixture of flowers for the flower farm and food. Let's focus on the flowers first so I can get them out of the way. I know I could be more organized with this, but I don't know, there's something so fun about like rummaging through your seed stash and picking out things, and it's probably not the most economic way to do it, but it's worked for me so far. Right, I'll start with the ones for the flower farm that I'm going to be sowing soon. The first is Chinese broccoli, which I know isn't edible, but I like to grow this for the flowers. They produce just the most gorgeous, white, beautiful filler flower. I'm also going to be planting some more feverfew. I have this one here. And I also have the tall white feverfew. This was the Linaria that I was talking about. I have the fairy bouquet mix. I'm also going to be planting some dahlias from seed. So these are just going to be random dahlias. I don't know what the flower is going to look like, but I'm trialing growing some from seed, and I also have ordered some tubers, and I'm probably going to order some more tubers. But I'm fairly new to dahlia growing, so I want to just start from seed. I'm growing some more cornflowers. This is black ball. Some more baby's breath. I've got the pink one, and then I have snowflake, which is the white one. Lots of feverfew. I'm also going to be planting Mrs. Burns lemon basil. This one here. And this is going to be a foliage for the bouquets, or a filler kind of foliage. This was heavily influenced by living on a prayer flower farm. Jessie definitely convinced me to get some of these. Growing some more calendula because I just love it around the garden. This is Pink Surprise. And the last few, I have some more Nigella and some more everlasting daisies. That's the flowers that I'm going to be focusing on. And then for the food, keep in mind that what I'm planting here may be completely different to your own microclimate, and it's just super important to understand your frost dates, your overnight temperatures, your daytime temperatures for what is going to grow well. So we live on the south coast of New South Wales, but we are quite a lot warmer because we're closer to the coast, so we don't tend to get a lot of frosts here, and we have fairly warm days, so perfect for growing a lot of the early spring varieties of plants. I am going to be starting a lot of these inside though. That'll take a few weeks to then be transplanted, which will hopefully be towards the end of when we might potentially get a frost, and the days will be a lot longer and warmer. So I am going to be sowing some snow peas. This one is the Oregon snow peas, and I should mention that all of these ones in the brown packets are by Whitbird Environmental, who a lot of these were gifted, and I do work with him and do have a discount code. So if you are interested in some of these seeds and supporting a local Australian small business, make sure to check out the link below. I know Jeff is getting ready for stocking up his seeds for spring and summertime and is going to have a really great variety. I'm also going to be planting some more mustard greens. This one is Scarlet Frills. It's also a good time to plant some radishes. I have the French breakfast radish here. There's so many different radish varieties, and you can often grow these all year round, but now is a really great time to get these in. Some rocket, a few different types of lettuce. I have red oak leaf lettuce and little gem. I've also already planted quite a lot of this slow bolting coriander. I'm kind of making a little coriander hedge, and I prefer these varieties, the slow bolting ones, particularly where you are getting warm humid days, because coriander likes to bolt, particularly in like the subtropics. So I'd recommend picking up some slow bolting varieties. I'm probably only just going to plant a few of these, the purple top Milan turnips, as well as dill. It's a great time to get dill in the ground, and this I like to direct sow. It doesn't really like being transplanted that well. As well as some shallots. I have the white Lisbon shallots here. I'm also just going to be a little bit of a rebel and try planting some more cauliflower. Usually you plant this more like autumn, early winter. I'm going to try it and see how it goes. Same with broccoli. I'm going to try the Italian sprouting broccoli. Sprouting broccoli, you usually get a harvest quicker than you would with like some of the bigger heads. Same with this cauliflower. This is a cauliflower snowball early. So apparently it takes 55 to 77 days for a harvest. And then my favorite seeds that I am so excited to start growing, I am planting some chilies. I have black olive chili, which is just a gorgeous, stunning plant in itself. And I'm going to try and use some of this for foliage in arrangements. I'm also growing Californian Wonder capsicum, just your stock standard capsicum, as well as a lot of jalapenos. I'm not a massive chili fan. I like a little bit of spice, but not too much, and I find just we usually eat quite a lot of jalapenos in our meals. Anything spicier than that, I'm not too keen on. And I have a random little package in here that I saved some seeds from, which says sweet small capsicum. So whatever this is, I'm going to be trying that, see if the seeds are viable. And then tomatoes, I am going to be staggering growing these. I'm obviously new to growing in this area. I'm not too sure specifically when the best time is to plant, so if you're from the south coast, let me know. But I figured I may as well just try and sow some now, see how I go. I will do another video to share all of the other tomato varieties that I'm going to be growing, but the ones that I'm starting now, I have another random packet of seeds which says Roma tomato with a question mark. Past Robyn was obviously not too great at remembering what these seeds were. They actually look like they have a bit of dried yellow flesh around them, so maybe not a Roma tomato. But I'm going to give this a go. It's a good tester because I have so many, so if they grow, they grow. If they don't, oh well. And the last one that I'm going to be trying to grow, I've never been able to grow large tomatoes in the subtropics. It would always just get completely ruined by the heat. They would just get blistered, fruit fly attack. Just wasn't working, particularly living a little bit inland, wasn't great for tomatoes. But here I feel like the climate is going to be really great to grow the larger varieties. Granted, I can protect them from all of the birds around. So I have chosen to try and grow a beefsteak tomato. These take a little bit longer than some of the other tomatoes to grow as well. That's why I'm choosing to plant this one now. It apparently takes almost 100 days to maturity, so that's a good few months. So I want to start the seeds now inside, and I have planted these as well as a few other seeds like the big tray of Linaria inside, and I have planted them just in little punnets and containers, and then put a cover over them. And I have just used an old container that we had from moving that is going to trap all of the heat in there but also allow light right next to the window, so hopefully it creates a little bit more of a warm area, because tomatoes and capsicums, they do need warmth to germinate. So that was a lot. I need a coffee break. And it may seem quite overwhelming going through your seed stash and picking them out. And to be honest, going through all of these was quite overwhelming. But to be honest, half of these are flowers. I wouldn't be growing all of these if I didn't have a flower farm that I'm trying to start. And I'm not going to be growing too many of each of these things, just a few to see what grows well here in this new climate. So I would love to know the seeds that you are starting. Are you getting ready for spring, or are you going into autumn or fall in the northern hemisphere? I would love to know what you are growing, and if you have any tips and recommendations about growing in more of a cooler climate, what you should be starting now to get a bit of a head start, I would love to know in the comments down below. I am going to finish my coffee, enjoy all these birds around because they have been a little bit boisterous in this video, and enjoy the garden today and get sowing some of these seeds. Thank you so much for watching. If you liked this video, make sure to give it a like and subscribe for lots more. And I also do have a Patreon page where I upload extra videos, and your support over there means the absolute world to me, and I want to continue making extra content over there that you really want to see. So I'll have the links for that in the description box, as well as some other places where you can support me if you would like to do so. Thank you so much again for watching. I hope you're having a lovely day wherever you are in the world, and until my next one, happy gardening everyone. Bye.